Do all of you know the term employee engagement? Question, is employee engagement important here? It is important. Important. I'm now going to share a technique with you that will probably give you a bigger improvement on employee engagement than any HR program you're ever going to roll out. It's free, and it takes about a minute a day to do. And by the way, as an experiment, you're all invited to do an experiment with this. I think you've got it on the evaluation forms or something. Anybody wants to do this, you sign up for it yourself. Because I don't believe in asking other people to do stuff we don't want to do ourselves. You don't want to do it? Don't ask anybody else to do it. Because to me, if it's not good enough for you, it's not good enough for them. So, my daughter Kelly taught me this. Everything on employee engagement has revolved around something called passive questions. What is a passive question? How meaningful is your work? Passive question. Do you have clear goals? Passive question. Are you engaged? Passive question. My daughter's research on this is incredibly compelling. If you ask people a passive question and they give you a negative response, they will invariably come up with an environmental cause of the problem. Do you have clear goals? No. Well, why not? My boss is weird. The company is strange. You know whose problem it is? Somebody else. It is almost never going to be my problem. It's always going to be their problem. Now, my daughter Kelly taught me something called active questions. And by the way, I'm going to share our research with on this. This is amazing, the results we've been getting. An active question begins with, did I do my best to? Did I do my best to? Well, you see, that did I do my best to, it kind of gets hard to blame somebody else. Did I do my best to? Is there any reason you can't do your best? It doesn't even say you succeed. It says, did you try? 6 questions every day. Did I do, and by the way, now on my own daily questions, these are my first 6 questions every day. I've incorporated this into my own daily questions every day. The first question, did I do my best to be happy? It didn't even say I'm happy. Did I do my best to be happy? Now, I mentioned to you I'm coaching 3 medical doctors. Amazing. 3 brilliant people. All had eerily the same exact response to that question. Do you know what it was? It never dawned on me. It never dawned on me to try to be happy. I pointed out to all 3 of them, you're a medical doctor, you probably realize this, you're going to die here. Being happy is probably not trivial. Maybe it's a good idea. Maybe you ought to try to give that a shot, you know? And they all looked at me like, you know, you're right. Well, what have I been thinking about for the last 45 years or 55 years? You know, never dawned on me. What did dawn on you, you know? Show up to meetings on time. That dawned on you right now. Now, the second question, did I do my best to find meaning? See, it doesn't say your work is meaningful. What does it say? Did you do your best to make it meaningful? Did you do your best to find meaning? Now, here's what our research has shown about happiness and meaning. If you just have people try to be happy without meaning, doesn't lead to increased organizational satisfaction. On the other hand, if you just give people meaningful work and they're miserable, doesn't lead to increased organizational satisfaction either. What you need to do is both. You need to do something that you enjoy the process of doing and you find it to be meaningful. 3, did I do my best to be fully engaged? See, not did the NHS make me engaged. Did I do my best to be fully engaged? 4, did I do my best to build positive relationships? Not did everyone else scurry around and have a positive relationship with me. Did I do my best to build positive relationships with everybody else? Number 5, did I do my best to set clear goals? Did I do my best to set clear goals? Rather than saying, did my boss set clear goals for me, or did the NHS set clear goals for me? Did I set clear goals for me? And finally, number 6, did I do my best to make progress toward goal achievement? Every day, 6 questions. Now, we're going to do a little practice. Are you ready? I want you to imagine you have to go to a meeting. A boring meeting. Stupid PowerPoint finance slides. You don't want to go to the meeting. You're in a foul mood. The meeting is going to last 1 hour and you have no choice. You have to go to the meeting. Has anyone in the room ever been to such a meeting before? We have all been to this meeting. Now, I want you to imagine you're going to be tested on 4 questions. At the end of that meeting, you're going to get a test. 4 questions. Did I do my best to be happy, find meaning, be fully engaged, and build positive relationships? The company is not going to be tested. The presenter at the meeting's not going to be tested. You know who's going to get tested? You're going to get tested. Talk to your partner, 30 seconds. Imagine you were going to be tested. What is one thing you would do different to make that meeting better on one of those 4 items if you knew you were going to be tested? Go, talk to your partner. What could you do different? Go, go, go. Talk to your other partners. Now, I love listening to people's ideas. Please speak very loudly. What's one thing you could do different? Be in the room. Be present.
I participate properly. I read the papers in detail in advance.
Participate. Be prepared.
Try to see it from the person that's invited us to the meeting's point of view and help them to achieve their goals.
Help them achieve their goals. Excellent. How about you?
We were having empathy and smile.
Smile. Exactly. Be positive. How about you? Yes, be present. Well, here's the point. If you knew you were going to be tested, you would act differently. Now, I'm now going to give you a very radical idea. Are you ready? Pretend you are going to be tested. Let me explain why. I'm on American Airlines, and there are 2 flight attendants. One's positive, motivated, engaged, enthusiastic. One's negative, bitter, angry, and cynical. They're on the same plane, same pay, same company, same uniform, and same customers. What's the difference? It's not on the outside. The difference is on the inside. Well, if that flight attendant is disengaged for 3 hours and angry and bitter and cynical, who's the real loser? See, the real loser is not American Airlines. American Airlines is bankrupt anyway. The real loser is not the customer. I am the customer. Somebody asked me about that British Airways flight, that 8-hour flight or 10-hour flight I flew over on. I got on the plane, had 2 drinks of champagne before I got on the plane, made the thing into a bed, fell asleep, and woke up when it landed. We could have had the best flight attendant in the world or the worst flight attendant in the world. I wouldn't know the difference anyway. I was asleep. Most of the time, the customer doesn't care. The customer is like a zombie. And that's different, right? Well, in most cases, the customer's asleep anyway. At least I'll speak for myself. I'm like a zombie. The real loser is not the customer. Who's the real loser of 3 hours? The flight attendant. 100% of that person's life is spent in misery for 3 hours. What I like about what I just taught you is, you know what I teach people on this? Is this good for the NHS? Yes. Is it good for your customers? Yes. It's better for you. Why? It's your life. That meeting for 1 hour, that is 100% of your life for that hour. If you're miserable, that's 100% of your misery. That's not somebody else's misery. That's 100% of your misery. And it's your hour. So the idea is, how can I make the best of that hour? Now, let me share our research. Here's our research. You take these 6 questions, and what we've done is a 2-week study, and you're all invited to participate. 2 weeks, everybody gets an email, 10 business days. Every day, all you have to do is fill out, did I do my best on these 6 questions? And then we do before and after questions, say, are you happier, more meaningful, less meaningful, whatever. And it takes about 2 minutes a day to do this. Let me talk about what we've learned. So far, 1,433 participants, 19 different studies. 30% of the people said 2 weeks later, I'm better at everything. I feel happier, more meaning, more engaged, better at setting goals. I feel better at everything. 60% say I got better on at least 4 of 6 items. 86% said I got better on at least 1 item. 14% said no change, and nobody got worse. Now, when I say nobody, 0.2%. Statistically, nobody got worse. What I like about this is it doesn't take much time. There's not a huge downside here. And if you try it, there's a pretty high probability it's going to help. Back to your question, why? It keeps it in your head. It just keeps these few basic things in your head. And the other thing I like about this is the way the question starts, did I do my best too? It's kind of hard to blame somebody else. Can you blame the NHS on a question that says, did I do my best too? No. If you don't do your best, whose fault is that? That's not the NHS's fault. That's not your boss's fault, or that's not somebody else's fault. If you don't do your best, look in the mirror. Where's the problem? The problem is right here. What I love about this, it gets people to take personal responsibility. Now, I'm not saying companies shouldn't do whatever they do to try to help the employees be engaged. That's good. And companies should do whatever they can do. On the other hand, almost everything in employee engagement is focused on what can we do to engage you, and almost nothing has been focused on what can you do to engage yourself. So my suggestion is it might be good to get the employees to focus not just on what can the NHS do to engage you, maybe what can you do to engage you? Does this make sense? Rather than say, how can my boss better motivate me? How can I better motivate me? I'm an adult here. You may be my boss, I'm an adult. Am I doing my best to motivate myself as opposed to waiting for you to do some magic trick and motivate me?